As 2023 draws closer, I decided to catch up with Gary Reynolds, Chief Investment Officer at Courtiers, to understand his thoughts as we enter the new year. Gary, in the seminars recently, Jake mentioned that 2022 was all about what Courtiers didn't invest in. Do you think 2023 might be the same or a different story?
Yeah, 2022 was a period to avoid certain things. You needed to avoid large American tech and communication companies, and you needed to avoid long-dated bonds. And if you managed to do that, you generally had an okay year. You may have lost a bit of money, but you didn't lose too much. If you were in long-dated gilts or tech, you lost a lot of money in this year. Next year, I think will be very different. I think we've just come to the end of probably a 30-year secular bull market in bonds, and that's gone. Nobody is going to regard bonds as attractive and safe at very low yields as they've done previously, because they've been badly burnt by changes in bond prices this year. So next year, I think it's going to be more about what you do invest in. And I think you're going to need to, asset managers are going to need to earn their keep by digging down deep into the things they want to invest in. And they need to make sure that anything that they invest in can survive a crisis. Not that we're predicting one for next year. What I hope is the surprise for 2023 is that we get some good news. My goodness, we've had 3 difficult years, but you do get surprises both ways. So we need to bear that in mind. But I think there are lots of very, very, very good businesses that you can pick up for very little, with multiple sort of very low price earnings ratios, extremely low price earnings ratios, great cash flow, good balance sheets that are going to deliver you good long-term returns. So I think they're the businesses you want to be investing in. I think if you still think you're going to find there's an old saying that a rising tide lifts all boats. So I don't think next year you're going to be able just to be injudicious with your selections and make money.
Gary, you and I were talking earlier, and it came to light that 2023 will actually be your 50th year in financial services. Now, we get asked a lot by clients with children or grandchildren wishing to explore or step into financial services industry, what guidance we might have. So I'd like to tap into your imminent 50 years worth of experience and ask you, what career guidance can you offer?
Well, firstly, it's a fantastic place to work. Financial services in the UK is probably the best. We've probably got the best financial services sector in the world, not even withstanding the Americans on that. I think we do it very well. We've done it for a long time. I think our central banks, just about the best in the world. Fed's pretty good too. If any American clients are watching this, it's not a case of being anti-American, but look, Brits have done this for a long time. We're a trading nation and we're very good with our finance. Great insurance companies, great tradition in that sector. For me, what I've loved about working in this is you get to work with great people. You get to work with lots and lots of good people work in the industry. Now, I know I said at the recent seminars that because there's a lot of money in financial sector, it attracts a lot of crooks, and it does. But generally, it attracts good people that want to do a good job. And what I've loved about being in this sector for, it'll be 50 years next September, is that we work for great people that generally, our clients are generally people that have had their careers and made their money. And what I found as a young man in the industry, but particularly when we launched Courtiers, was that you got paid in 2 ways by clients. Firstly, they paid you to look after their capital, which was great. But secondly, they would pay you in a different way, which was advice. And they were always willing to share their own experiences. And Jamie and I have been very grateful for that over the years. And I think that if you embrace that connection and the sheer pleasure at working with people that you get to know intimately, then you'll have a great career have a lot of fun, and you do make, you know, it pays well, Leo. No, you know, it's a good industry to work in. So yeah, I'd recommend it to anybody.
Is there anything specific that you would say to anybody wishing to step into financial services?
Well, funny thing is, best bit of guidance I saw this year was in the final of Strictly Come Dancing, and Hamza, who gave his speech having won it, was said that there's 3 things that you should make sure you have in life, do in life. 1, surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when you come into the room. 2, remember that when you reach a peak, it's the bottom of the next mountain. And 3, and this is the one I really liked, slow is the fastest way to your goal. Now, in financial services, the disasters happen when people get greedy and try to go too quickly. You do it properly, you do it slowly, and it'll work for you. You try and rush it, you try and make money quick, and the markets will destroy you. This sector hammers hubris. So you always have to be humble and mindful of what you're doing. So that advice from Hamza, I think, actually fits any walk of life, Leo.
Now, as we head towards what I hope will be a relaxing departure from 2022 into 2023, I wondered if you could recommend any books.
Oh, yeah. So two that I've read this year. One book called Radical Uncertainty by Mervyn King, you know, the ex-governor of Bank of England, and John Kay. I love that book because it debunks the theory that you can ever really completely control risk within asset management decisions. A terrific book. And of course, King was governor of Bank of England through the global financial crisis. So he's been at it even longer than me, Leo. So that's a great read. And the other book that I absolutely loved when we actually, Kath, my wife, and I listened to it together this year is Phil Knight's book, Shoe Dog. That's Phil Knight's the founder of Nike, and it's his story of how he started the company and built it. And any would-be entrepreneur should read that, because anyone that's started a business will identify with the ups and downs of the initial years, especially, and that's really insightful into the hard work that went into making Nike a tremendous global brand. So those 2 books, they're the 2 books I'd recommend for anyone, and they're an easy read.
Thanks, Gary. And finally, is there anything specific you'd like to say to our clients and viewers?
Well, I've been a degree more optimistic going into 2023 than I did 2022. I think that if you expect the worst, then anything better than that is a pleasant surprise. I think that's how you have to run money. And then the other thing I'd like to say is a huge thank you to everyone that's entrusted us with their capital through 2022. It was a tough year. I think we did a pretty good job overall. You know, the markets lost a lot of money, and we didn't lose very much. And I think that was the best you could hope for in the last 12 months. But in particular, I'd just like to say a big thank you and wish everybody a happy, peaceful, and hopefully a very prosperous 2023.
Gary, that's a wrap for this year. I shall look forward to working with yourself and colleagues through 2023, and I shall look forward to ensuring that all our viewers and clients continue to remain informed about their investments with Courtiers. Happy New Year to all.